You only need to know me. I will be the one.
This video contains spoilers for One Piece chapter 1115, and we're going to be discussing how exactly Joy Boy lost. But first, a brief update. I'm going to be making a theory video based off every chapter from now on, so we'll have to figure out what to focus the other Vinland Leaks channel on. I'll try to be creative. But a recent video I dropped, titled The Darkest Void Century Theory Ever, seems to be partially coming true based on chapter 1115. The two biggest takeaways from chapter 1115 are as follows. First, that the War of the Void Century was fought by essentially two parties or kingdoms engaged in a conflict over an idea or ideas. A battle of ideas first hinted at by Professor Clover when remarking about the world government opposing what the ancient kingdom stood for, and again by Vegapunk this arc. The erasure of not just the kingdom, but its ideas. And second, at the end of this war, Joy Boy lost. So let's dive deeper. Essentially, there was some disagreement over the value system to follow, whether beliefs tied to freedom, scientific advancement, or notions of justice, how the world should be, how people should be treated, governed or not. A political clash that turned deadly maybe, leaving nothing but fragments of continents as the title of chapter 1115 relays. Joy Boy's enemies were numerous. Joy Boy and his group or pirate crew was so strong that his enemies formed an alliance to take him on. Vegapunk says he doesn't possess much information on what ignited or caused that battle, but the description of it as a clash of two types of ideas, and how neither side can be defined as good or evil. I take this to mean people had their beliefs, and their dreams collided. Rather, the outcome of that battle is where the true evil resided. The destruction of the planet, intentional or not. How the aftermath of Joy Boy's downfall left an irreparable damage on our world. Vegapunk's conclusion that the rise in sea levels was not natural. This was no naturally born disaster, but instead, the calamity that befell the world was entirely man-made. That by fighting, by going to war with weapons that guaranteed mutually assured destruction no different than our nuclear weapons today, or even our weapons designed for biological warfare, every continent in the world was lit ablaze, destroyed. I'm sure many will point this out, but this feels like Oda's warning about World War III, and the potential unintended consequences of it, regardless of which side is in the wrong. None of that matters ultimately, if there's no planet left. Those ancient weapons that sunk the world 800 years ago still exist today, and they could one day be put to use again. The huge war that occurred during the Void Century has not yet ended. Our world is still at war, and each side is still fighting over the same two types of ideas. The debate hasn't ended. We've been in a cold war for centuries. Now the war is heating up again. The damage to the world, though, is not just physical, but social, spiritual, going from island to island. That is our world today, the world of One Piece. The act of sailing itself being difficult. A large amount of the One Piece population will only have access to their own culture as a result, unable to leave their island, taking us back to the quote, "No man is an island," thereby creating further misunderstanding. And so, the divisions that exist amongst people today are artificial. The world used to be more united. Could that be the true meaning of One Piece? Why it is titled this way? The message of Oda's story. The unity we share but overlook, being a form of treasure that was lost to the sea, lost to war. Even if Oda said a more tangible, physical item will be found to placate those readers in demand of a different end. But given the focus on Imu this chapter, and the correlation between Vegapunk saying the other chapter that he would not label him as evil or good, likely referring to Imu, and now saying that neither side of the war that destroyed the world in the past was good or evil. Neither Joy Boy or the 20 kings, including Imu, can be described as good or evil then. And then we have to take a look at Imu's actions differently, right? Why create the Tequila Wolf Bridge? What purpose does a bridge serve? The bridge is inherently symbolic of communication and union, from what I read. Whether it be between heaven and earth or two different or distinct realms. For this reason it can be seen as the connection between God and man. It may be the passage to reality, or merely a symbol for travel and crossing. In the tarot card readings, since Oda has employed tarot cards in his story via Basil Hawkins in the past, in the tarot card readings, the bridge card means progress, connections, and stability, a means of reaching a destination, a way to overcome obstacles. Bridges also represent transitions, transitioning to a new period, a new era. In a darker sense, crossing over is a euphemism for taking that journey from life to death. But the symbol of a bridge can also stand for hope. So then, could there be a positive reason for Imu using slave labor to force the construction of a bridge, to ensure that despite the coming war, the Great Cleansing, and resultant flood, this time the world would remain connected, united, even if not entirely in one piece? The battle over two different ideas takes us in so many different directions. Dragon saying the world awaits our answer in chapter 100. Blackbeard saying that when it comes to notions of justice or evil, there is no answer. To Hannibal while stomping him into the ground, as if crushing all that he and the world government represents in chapter 543. Who these characters share their respective beliefs with matters. Dragon then asking, what right does anyone have to stop another man from setting sail? Dragon spoke to the Marines via Smoker in this moment as the free wind blew. Blackbeard spoke to the world government and to the pirate prison guards via Hannibal and Impel Down, but also the other pirates that were present before him, chained and unchained. Dragon, a revolutionary rebelling against the world, and Blackbeard, a pirate, but also a terrorist, you could say, like Rox Dizabek was said to be. Speaking appropriately from a prison famous for housing the world's most notorious pirates. Revolution, piracy, freedom, and anarchy. Could this give us some clue as to what ideas the war, the Void Century, was fought over? Too much freedom, or freedom going the wrong way? Too much government? Is it possible there was a band of fighters, perhaps pirates, that joined the first pirate, Joy Boy? And so there was the first pirate crew, and then there was the first pirate armada, or Grand Fleet, that defied the previous government before there was a world government that we know today. These pirates wanted to be free. Maybe they were engaged in both piracy and revolution. Maybe there was another set of pirates with darker intentions. A villainous pirate that Blackbeard might have been descended from. Either way, these pirates rebelled against an opposing force, and we still don't know if Joy Boy was fighting for the ancient kingdom directly. What I will add is I don't think it's a coincidence that Dragon's introductory chapter begins with the following quote from the narrator. Legends that endure in the future were events that took place in the distant past. War. War never changes. History is repeating itself. Given the current world government was supposed to be based on an empty throne, and so nobody would ever rule over anyone ever again, that there is no one ruler of the world. But secretly there is. And maybe this is how Vegapunk's speech ends, which is why the Gorosei are so nervous. Yet Imu is still so calm, playing with butterflies per usual. God is unbothered. But the idea of rebelling against an opposing force in the name of freedom, though, it reminds me of a famous phrase by Patrick Henry, an American statesman and founding father. Give me liberty or death. It was delivered during a speech he made to the Virginia Convention in 1775, in which he advocated for mobilizing the militia to defend against British tyranny. One could think of Britain at the time as the most powerful civilization and so an advanced ancient kingdom, going up against many colonies in the Americas, in what would be or become the United States of America. Maybe Oda hinting that the world government, via the Reverie, because we did see that one guy that looked like an American. Maybe Oda is hinting that the world government is somehow tied to my own country. The phrase has since become a symbol of the American Revolution and the willingness of a people to fight for their rights and freedoms. Maybe the ancient kingdom was a free country, and the other countries and their alliances despised the ancient kingdom's way of life and sought to conquer it. Or the reverse could be true. But if the reverse is true, if the allied kingdoms were akin to colonies seeking independence from the more advanced ancient kingdom, why would Joy Boy fight against them? It's almost like asking about God Valley. Why would Goldie Roger side with a Marine Vice Admiral, going against his own, a fellow pirate, Rox D. Zebek? Maybe because despite our agreements over ideas, freedom, and so on, innocent life comes first, always. This is a stark contrast that might have existed then, and during the Void Century, and in the present with Luffy and Blackbeard. Imagine if Blackbeard was secretly descended from one of the 20 kings. Could that explain his desire to become a king? His crown was taken from him. His birthright. Anyways, let's consider how Joy Boy might have lost, and given it's already difficult to imagine Luffy, the current Joy Boy, losing to any of the remaining One Piece characters in the series. That's just how strong Luffy is now. Luffy's defense or durability gives us some idea as to what might be needed to defeat Joy Boy. A lot. Kaido couldn't do it. The Gorosei are currently struggling to do it. So how did Joy Boy lose? Water. We know Joy Boy had eaten the same devil fruit as Luffy, since Vegapunk describes Joy Boy as having a rubber body. Maybe the ancient kingdom had sea stone, since they have other advanced technologies and tools at their disposal. And so maybe the allied forces that opposed the ancient kingdom and Joy Boy had access to sea stone as well. And besides being a genius, one of the reasons Vegapunk was able to create what he did is because of the trail of knowledge left behind by the ancient kingdom. Leftover knowledge that inspired him to attempt to recreate technologies that the ancient kingdom likely already had. Trickery. If the Joy Boy of the past is anything like the Joy Boy of the present, then the ancient kingdom's Joy Boy might have been a battle genius, but also an idiot like Luffy. Myself and others have suggested the possibility of Imu being a pirate in his own right, and the world government flag is Imu's pirate flag. The flag of a man that conquered the four seas, the Grand and Red Line, to become king of the world. Like astronauts going to outer space and planting their flag, or soldiers conquering the land of a defeated army and raising the banner to lay claim to new territory. Or a pirate announcing this place is now under their protection, their domain. Imu showcases how nobility or imperialism is really no different than piracy. And the first lesson we learn in One Piece is that anything goes in a battle between pirates. For all we know, Imu and the 20 Kings or someone else tricked or betrayed Joy Boy. And that's how he lost the battle. Mortal Kombat. It's entirely possible Joy Boy lost in Mortal Kombat. Not like he lost a game and heard the words "finish them" as he died.
Finish him!
But instead, Joy Boy put on the gloves and got in the ring with those he was up against. In chapter 1115, we see Joy Boy readying for a fight, squaring up against people with crowns in a small panel, though they are all hidden in silhouettes, shadows of history. This is likely depicting one key fact we learned about the Void Century War from Professor Clover and later on Vegapunk, that the Ancient Kingdom might have prided itself on its great power, but it was somehow overwhelmed by 20 nations that allied together to take down the Ancient Kingdom. An Ancient Kingdom that was likely more powerful than 20 allied nations individually due to its scientific achievements. The question to be asked then is, how did the 20 allied nations win? What did they use? Likely advanced technology of their own, devil fruits and maybe even ancient weapons. Vegapunk tells us that the nation where Joy Boy was born was something you wouldn't believe to have existed 900 years ago. The weapons that existed in that century of war seem to be of a sort of craftsmanship that cannot be recreated with today's technologies. Not even the genius Vegapunk can recreate them. This would likely include other ancient Iron Giant robots. Ancient robots that are stronger than the pacifista we know today. Given Joy Boy was up against the 20 kings that formed the current world government, you would probably need some serious hockey or powerful devil fruits to take him down. The 20 kings might have had these abilities. Or just like the devil worshippers of Namakura Island made a deal with the devil to summon the power to defeat an enemy clan, could it be that the 20 kings, including Imunarona, made a deal with the devil in the form of devil fruits, and so the Sea Devil, to acquire the power needed to take on the advanced Ancient Kingdom? And so one side sided with the Sea Devil, and the other side sided with the Sun God. The Sun God versus the Sea Devil. One side using their dreams to conquer the Ancient Kingdom, manifesting their dreams as power. The yokai devil powers we now see on Egghead Island. The cultists of Namakura Island were in the middle of trying to summon Satan, the devil, wanting him to help them destroy the Long-Arm tribe. The Long-Arms have me thinking about the other races of One Piece and what role they might have played in this historic battle. The fishmen, the minks, the giants, and so on. It would appear that the fishmen were allies of Joy Boy, given Joy Boy's apology letter. Zunisha, who the minks ride atop. Zunisha has some relationship with Joy Boy, and so the minks as well maybe. And the giants worship the Sun God. You would think they were all loyal to the Sun God Nika then, and so by extension Joy Boy. But who knows exactly what happened. But the ancient weapons as another explanation for Joy Boy's defeat. Not so much the Sea Kings unless they have powers Oda hasn't revealed yet. Maybe the Sea Kings can manipulate the water and cause floods as well. But the ancient weapons Pluton or Uranus or a replica of them could be enough to take someone like Luffy down. Could Luffy survive what it was that used the Mother Flame to destroy an island? Or power scale it differently? Which is stronger, Luffy or an island? You have to wonder if some of the ancient weapons were on opposing sides. And so in line with my questioning about the other races of the world, and what role they played in what seems to be a human-on-human conflict. The fishmen had Poseidon, but maybe one of the kingdoms had Pluton and the other had Uranus. Since Pluton is under Wano, maybe the ancient kingdom had Pluton, and the 20 kings that opposed the ancient kingdom had Uranus, as the world government today appears to be in its possession, relying on the Mother Flame to use it. A subscriber mentioned to me that after the use of one Mother Flame, the destruction of Eleusia Kingdom caused the sea levels to rise by 1 meter. But we learned that the War of the Void Century caused the sea levels to rise by 200 meters. Could this have been because multiple Mother Flames were used over the course of that century? Maybe 200 Mother Flames, or a massive Mother Flame, or a sun-like ball of fire was dropped on the continents equivalent to 200 Mother Flames. Again, could water or the flood itself have defeated Joy Boy, caught him during the battle and drowned him? Some people in chapter 1115 even speculate that a lot of people must have died by the rise in seawater. Maybe Joy Boy was one of them. It is also possible that Imu is not the only one that fought Joy Boy in the past. As mentioned, it could have been someone else, someone Vegapunk might be less hesitant to call evil. In a battle of ideas, it could be that the ancestors of Luffy and Blackbeard, continuing now, have been locked in an eternal struggle. Blackbeard mentioning to Aokiji that he too believes in a principle of justice that has yet to be revealed. Could this principle or idea be at odds with Luffy in terms of abilities that could defeat the current Luffy and the Joy Boy of the ancient kingdom in the past? The Yami Yami no Mi comes to mind. The power of darkness and whatever else Blackbeard might be hiding up his sleeve or currently searching for, versus the power of the sun god Luffy. If this clash happened centuries ago, it's not a surprise that the world as we know it was transformed. Maybe by more than just the ancient weapons. Once again a battle of light versus darkness. In many ways, two ideas. And in the past, darkness won. But after watching the pirate TV show called Black Sails on Netflix, seeing all these notorious pirates work together in hopes of creating a pirate kingdom on Nassau, I couldn't help but think of Blackbeard and his own desire to create a pirate kingdom. Could it be that Blackbeard's special lineage, that Blackbeard is descended from one of the people that fought alongside Joy Boy? Or maybe even Joy Boy himself, the Marshall D and Monkey D families. How far back might their bloodlines go? Again, could Blackbeard's ancestor have been an ally to Joy Boy, or one of the 20 kings, or an enemy to both sides, an opportunist seeking advantage from that clash? Either way, the battle of ideas is funny in a darkly curious sort of way. I wonder if Oda will portray the Void Century Joy Boy and Imu in such a way that forces readers to choose sides based on their own ideologies. Finally, if you have not watched the darkest Will of D theory ever video, it might help to do so after this, as we continue to learn more about Joy Boy. After hearing Vegapunk's revelatory words about the Void Century, it's my belief that Joy Boy is possibly the originator of the Will of D, and likely the first person to die with that iconic smile. The death of Joy Boy is the birth of the Will of D in a way, just as the war of the past has carried into the future. So has that smile. So has that inherited will. But as usual, we will have to wait and see. Don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts below, and subscribe. You can also find me on Twitter at the following address, @VinlandRagnar. My Twitter page is on the screen. Also check out my other One Piece channel called Vinland Leaks, where I'll be covering your comments and turning comments into videos, as well as covering a whole bunch of other subject matter that you won't find on this channel. I won't be covering spoilers there anymore, so it should be safe for you to subscribe if you want to do so. Links will be in the description box and pinned in the comment section below. As always, there is more to come. Until next time.